Oh yeah, you already know what time it is. You know what's going on. I'm your host Cam Silver,
I am your co-host Kyle Silver.
and welcome back to another episode of the Silver Boys Podcast. Oh yeah, Kyle,
Talk to me.
we are
Talk to me.
finally in week one of the preseason.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
now, so now we'll at least just get a chance just to see some of these guys, some of these rookies, even some guys that will be starting this upcoming season, some veterans maybe even too. So very excited for that. But before we get to football, let's go back real quick to basketball because they obviously made some news. So Luka Doncic has signed a 3-year, $165 million max contract extension with a player option in 2028. That makes him eligible for a projected 5 years, 417 million in 2028.
Wow. That projection, number one, is wild. Luca is definitely worth it. We all know that. We knew that the Lakers were going to do what they needed to do to sign him. New management in there, different team, different team. LeBron's on his last legs, just winding down his career more than anything else. Luca should have been a supermax. Definitely, he should be getting paid probably how SGA is getting paid.
Yep.
Even like a Jalen Williams as well too, because Jalen got a great extension himself.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, I blame that on the Mavericks, pretty much. He looks great. You seen those pictures of him
Yep.
recently? He looks super skinny.
I think they said that he's lost over 30 pounds.
That's wild. I just hope that it doesn't compromise his his toughness more than anything else, because it's nice to have that weight a little bit.
Yeah.
He's always been that player that kind of like, he's able to back people down, um, put his eyes on people, put that grit on people more than anything else. But well deserved for Luca. We knew the Lakers were going to sign him. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, no, I'm happy that they re-signed him. Wasn't really worried that they wouldn't, to be honest with you, knowing that everybody knew that they were gonna pivot towards him and make him, the guy that they go around. So, the acquisitions of DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart are because of Luka Doncic. So yeah, just stay on the lookout for it. Like if they do any more moves, which they are gonna have to, it's all gonna have to go through Luka instead of going through Bron. So Braun will now be able to take that back seat. But yeah, no, Luka, he looks good. I'm not worried as much about the weight. I think it's gonna make him faster. I think it's gonna think about it like this. Think about if Luka had came in. Think about how am I gonna put it? Luka might be the same size as he was as a rookie.
Okay.
Remember
Yeah.
when Luka was a rookie? Remember he was
Yeah.
dunking on people and whatnot? Now think
hmm
about that with the experience of what he has now.
Put that together. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not as worried. That's why I was actually pretty happy because also it'll make him a lot more lighter on his feet.
Mhm.
It also reduce injuries, I think, in my opinion. And also, you never know, he might be a little better on defense since everyone kills him for that.
Be able to move laterally a lot quicker, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
Definitely. Shout out JJ Redick though. He called it out. And then shout out Luca because he did
Because
what needed to be done.
yeah, he stepped up to the plate. I think that was one thing probably in Dallas that was missing. They didn't call it out. They didn't, they just got rid of him and gave up on him unexpectedly instead of actually sitting down and working through it. But yeah, no, shout out to, like you said, shout out to JJ Redick for calling that out and making it known, like, hey, you want to get back to the chip. You got to be in shape for it. You got to
And
be
you
in
have to
shape for the
be in
tape.
shape for 82 games,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yep. But yeah. NBA news is still coming through. De'Aaron Fox had actually got an extension as well, but we'll talk about that later
Okay,
because
okay.
we got some things to talk about with the gridiron, with the NFL. So, um, of course, this had to happen after we had recorded last week's podcast, right? So literally the next day after we recorded our podcast, Michael Parsons came out in a long letter basically saying, Dallas, I love you, but I don't want to be here no more because Jerry won't pay me.
And what a sad turnout that is,
Hmm.
because we all know what that man is worth, man. Like we know what he brings on the defensive end every snap. And for your best player, arguably, to say you don't want to be there with the best franchise in the world, monetarily, almost what
Brandon.
they're worth,
Yeah.
what they're worth. what Jerry Jones is worth, but this is what he does. It took him a while to pay Dak.
Took him basically until a couple hours before the season started to pay Dak.
Took him a while to pay CD as well.
Yep.
And then you do this to the third guy. But we talked about this. There might not be enough money in the pipeline, brother.
I don't know. I don't think so either. Because think about it. I'll put it to you like this. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith, right? They're all getting paid around 44, 45 million salary cap. All three of them together. 50 million and a half just for Dak Prescott alone. And then now on top of it, look at it like this. Now you see guys like Myles Garrett and TJ Watt are at the top of the paid list for edge rushers. They're both of them are basically in their 30s. Mike is still in his 20s and he's in his prime in his 20s.
This is prime right now. Yeah.
What you think he's gonna ask for now?
Top
Because
dollar.
because you decided to drag your feet. And guess what? He even said in a letter he wanted to get this deal done last year. So that you could pay me now at whatever the cost, still would have been around what 35, 36, 37 million. But then guess what? You still would have had more money to build around him with that defense to even, stack up on that offense and then continue to make your runs. So now
Yeah.
so you know what I mean? So now you're sitting here in the standstill because you can't get out of your own way.
I look at what Jerry Jones has done to these three guys, CD, Dak, now Michael Parsons. I look at it as procrastination, honestly. Waiting until the last possible second to do what you need to do.
Hmm.
Um, knowing, like you said, he could have handled this last year, but he made that choice to pay CD.
And
And we knew, and Dak, like we knew it was going to be one of the two. He
hmm
chose offense essentially,
which is okay.
which is okay.
You know what I mean? Because like you said, he still had another year. He still has this last year on his contract. You can still pay him. But the thing is, you could have easily just paid him earlier, right? And then now you don't have to compete with the Myles Garrett contracts or the TJ Watt contract.
And it's not even also about the Miles Garrett and the TJ Watt contract, which I do agree with you. It's the fact that, again, your best player is telling you that they don't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, that's big.
That is, that says everything about the organization
Says
and
everything.
how he feels treated.
Yeah, it says everything about Jerry as a whole, being a owner and being a GM. Usually, when you have two jobs like that, like a owner and a GM or a GM and a head coach, you're gonna be good at one, but you can't be good at both. It's very hard to be good at both. Almost
It's hard.
impossible.
It's hard to spread yourself amongst so many different things
Yes,
because
yeah.
you can't focus on give your 100%
Hmm.
on one thing.
Yeah,
Um, it's just sad to see, but I'm happy. I'm honestly, I'm good. I'm good. I'll take it.
I
I'll
know
take it.
you
Yo,
are.
let that man go, bro. Let that man go. Go to like Tennessee or something. You feel me? That's what I feel.
Yeah, Cam Ward needs some help over there on that
Just get Micah Parsons just away from New York, the Giants. Just get him all the way away, okay? Please. Trade that man to the other conference, all right?
defense.
That's how I feel.
Yeah,
Truly.
if he now on the Steelers, just keep him out of the North. That's all I ask.
I know they don't let like Buffalo or like Baltimore get him now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know. Trust me, and these are two teams that we're actually going to end up talking about in a little bit too. So, but
Or
yeah,
go to Kansas City.
but man, that that caught my
Go ahead.
breath.
Go
If
ahead. Go
we were
ahead.
to go to Kansas City, let me tell you something.
But I digress.
Let me tell you something. Dynasty is back intact if that happens. But man, yeah, no, it's for me, it's just disrespectful for how he's handling this, of how he's handled all three of them, honestly.
Very much so.
Because just because me and you sit here face to face and like Micah said, he was gonna go into the meeting talking about leadership. Next, end up being about contract talks. And then apparently there was like I guess a handshake or some type of a agreement, or maybe Micah was liking the numbers that he was hearing, but he didn't. But then he said, okay, cool, let me go back to my agent. Let me tell him everything. that needs to that I know that we talked about, then boom, then you could talk to him because that's how usually how things work, right?
How it should work, yeah.
But now Jerry's trying to cut out the middleman and the agent and do it himself when it's like can't do that.
Because he's probably trying to lack of a better term, screw him over.
Could be.
Just you know what I'm saying? Jerry trying to pull the wool over his eyes almost.
Yeah, no, it could be. It could be. So that's why it's interesting. And plus, Micah has like one of the best agents in the game. I forgot his name, but he has one of the best agents in the game that almost every player will want.
Mm,
And I think that's also another thing. Jerry has a big ego. And now that Micah is upstaging him and it's funny because Micah doesn't have a lot of leverage because the Cowboys still have the rights to him for the next couple of years because they could franchise tag him
yeah,
after
yeah.
this season, which I wouldn't want them to do at all. I wouldn't want anybody to franchise tag a star player like this at all because you could literally diminish their stardom.
Very much so. Very much so. Pull them down in the market more than anything else, and make their value not what they're actually worth.
Actually worth exactly. So that's why it's a struggle and that's why everybody, including like every regardless if you're a Cowboy fan or you hate the Cowboys, whatever, that's why everyone's sitting there like pay him.
It really doesn't make sense as to why you can, why you won't.
Mm-mm. I don't understand it.
And
Don't
it comes down to three things. Either you don't got the money, either you're trying to pull the wool over his eyes and your negotiation skills ain't that good,
mm-hmm.
or Micah doesn't like what he's hearing.
That could be it too. All I know is Thursday he wasn't at practice. He wasn't at the portion of practice that he's usually at. So yeah, I would say the it's time to start ringing those alarms in my opinion.
He's gonna pull a Chris Jones and probably sit out. He could
He could.
later on.
He could. Yeah, I could see that. I could see, man, because the thing is like if he gets hurt, then what?
Exactly.
You know? So I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk more about this. We'll talk more about this as it
Ongoing conversation, yeah.
yeah. But let's get into the preview. So back at it again. Now we are coming at you with the AFC East and the AFC North. So we're gonna start off with the East with the Buffalo Bills. So big expectations for this team after they lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. Um, we already know what they're coming with. They still have Josh Allen. They need to sign James Cook, who's looking for an extension because he's on his final year of his contract. Excuse me. They're expecting more of a Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman, which I
Definitely.
expect definitely.
Definitely.
Yep, yep.
Next level progression, absolutely.
Yes, yes, needed badly too. If they're gonna take that next step, they need both of these guys to step up. On defense, they lost Von Miller, but they do add Joey Bosa, and they do extend Greg Rousseau and Christian Benford, who is a cornerback. But Joey Bosa is my biggest question mark, and Matt Milano because they have not been healthy that much as of late. So. Yeah, that's where my questions lie on the defensive end for Buffalo for the most part.
Yeah, offensive end, I can't really question because they went toe to toe with Kansas City.
Hmm.
And it came down to just who had the ball last. Um, and also Josh Allen making some timely mistakes, but that's Josh Allen at the end of the day. He's gonna take his risks, and I see him continuing to take those risks to put the team in the best position possible.
Yeah,
Um, Definitely expect more out of Dalton Kincaid, and I expect more out of Keon Coleman as well too. Two top tier receivers who not maybe not top tier, but has the potential to be top tier.
yep,
Um, I see them making a. I can see them making a deep playoff push.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
I s- they haven't really given me a reason to not because of how they've been over the course of a couple years, and they're this close. You know what I mean?
yeah,
This close,
yeah. Like you said, it's just a matter of just having a ball last and being able to
getting
score.
over getting over the hump,
Yeah, yeah,
and not shooting yourself in the foot. But
yeah. That's that we'll figure that out as the season goes on, right?
yes,
Going to the Dolphins, they traded away Jalen Ramsey, so the question over there is who will replace Jalen Ramsey? They signed Artie Burns, who's a vet, but he hasn't started since 2019. They drafted James Marshall Jr. in the fifth round. Their GM Chris Greer said that he wants Cam Smith to get the job and basically publicly challenging him to take the starting job. And so on that defensive end, that's what they're really looking for in that secondary. But we all know when it comes down to the Dolphins, it's all about the health of who? Tua
Tua
Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa.
That's what it comes down to. Can he stay healthy? They did sign Zach Wilson to be a backup, so they have a guy who's a veteran, a guy who can sling the rock just in case Tua does get injured. But yeah, if Tua can stay healthy, if they can keep Devon Achane off of a workload because he did lead the league for running backs and receiving yards and receptions.
Mm,
So if you could pull some of that back, you still got guys like Jalen Wright, you got Alexander Madison, and they drafted Ole Gordon the second.
okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so they always have a solid squad, but it's just a matter of just making sure that your main guy is healthy.
Definitely making sure the main guy's healthy. Zach Wilson, we know what he has done over the course of his career with the Jets and whatnot. Not a bad backup option though.
Mm-mm.
Definitely have to plan for that as a just in case because again we question the health of Tua. Um, I question if it's almost like a little redundant than anything else. I just don't trust the Dolphins to beat top tier teams.
I don't trust them to beat top tier teams, and that's mainly because most of all the top tier teams are where in January it's cold weather,
it,
and
it gets redundant at a certain point. We've been talking
exactly,
about that for years, you
exactly,
know, for at least 2 years now.
yes, more than that.
Um, and so it just becomes at this point, I'm not going to, I don't have crazy expectations because they haven't given me anything to actually expect from them other than maybe first round exit,
Yeah,
maybe second round exit. That's it. That's their ceiling to me.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think for them, they just want to win a playoff. They just want to get into the playoffs and win a playoff game. And that's what they need right there. That would be their first step, and then after that, they can go on from there. But moving on to the Patriots, they got Mike Vrabel, who is back as a head coach now. They also have Josh McDaniel back as the offensive coordinator. So I am very interested to see how Drake May gets accustomed to his scheme and how he wants to run things over there. They drafted left tackle Will Campbell. They signed vets like Morgan Moses and center Garrett Bradbury. So good new offensive line coming in for Drake May, which will be needed. They also signed Stephon Diggs, who's still coming back from his ACL tear, and they drafted Kyle Williams, who everybody from training camp has been raving about so far, and as well as signing vets like Mac Hollins, and then still got some room in there for a couple more guys to come in. And try to make the team regarding as wide receivers. And then everyone knows on defense, it all starts off with Christian Gonzalez, but nothing crazy on defense. But as knowing the Patriots, they're always going to be tough on defense, especially Mike Vrabel. He's going to make sure that they're tough on defense.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I back everything that you're saying. Definitely Patriots. I could see the Patriots and the Dolphins like fighting for like that second
Yeah,
spot maybe
yeah, yeah,
in that AFC East division. Honestly,
yeah.
I don't think the Patriots are going to be as much of a purgatory as it has been for a little bit for the last couple of years. I really don't.
Yeah, no,
Really don't.
I actually have high expectations, low key for them. Not in terms of like making the playoffs and nothing like that.
Nah, nothing like
Just
that,
be,
but
but like, I just hope by like November, December, we're kind of talking about them in the hunt.
in the hunt, just be competitive
Just
more
be
than anything
competitive.
else.
Yep, yep.
And if Drake May starts slinging that rock, whew.
It's a different story.
Mhm,
It's a different
mhm,
story. The Jets have everything is new. New GM. They got a new head coach in Aaron Glenn coming over from Detroit. They got a nice old line now, full of guys from that were drafted highly. You have Brees Hall, you have Justin Fields. Justin
mhm.
Fields has his guy from college and Garrett Wilson, who they just extended. Defense is still looking solid, and you have a head coach who is a defensive guy who really did his thing up in Detroit for the last few years. So the Jets, man, this AFC East division is tough.
This is a division to watch most definitely. I'm excited for this division because I'm excited for Justin Fields. more than
Yes.
anything else. And
Yes.
Garrett Wilson, that tandem, that combo, and we already know that that Jets defense is tough,
Hmm.
very much so. You know, you got guys like Sauce and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Um, the Jets, I I think they're in a better position. Obviously, even when they're in a better position now than when they got Aaron Rodgers,
Oh yeah.
and how we were talking about what Aaron could do for the Jets before he got his Achilles tear.
Hmm.
I think they're in a better position, and I just hope they keep Justin Fields and they actually keep just progressing with him.
Yeah.
You got to go through the rough patches in order to keep going, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a comfortable place for him, more so than even Chicago, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a comfortable place for him more than from Chicago and Pittsburgh,
Yes,
in my
even
opinion.
yes, he's not fighting for
He,
starting QB,
right. Right. He's not looking over his shoulder. He can just lock in and focus on being the guy.
and he learned behind Russell.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now you got to put all of that into practice.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And plus, like I said, you have a relentless head coach in Aaron Glenn, who I will always speak highly of because I became a huge fan of his when he was with the Lions and how he was able to really galvanize that defense and make them a powerhouse from what they are today.
Exactly, very much so.
Let's move on to the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, we know what their ceiling is. It's Super Bowl or bust, plain and simple. There's nothing else to it. They have little to no weaknesses on this team. They've only lost four starters on both sides of the ball. Last season, they led the league in total yards and fewest points allowed. They also signed on DeAndre Hopkins, and they also got on the defensive end Jair Alexander. But I put a question mark over him because over the last four seasons, he has missed 34 games.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's a lot of games.
Yeah, that's a lot of games. So basically, what we're saying is he's only played maybe about half the season in those last four seasons.
Yeah, Baltimore, Baltimore, Baltimore. We it,
Ravens seem
I
hurt.
don't even know what to say. I look, it's the same thing like Buffalo. You're
Yeah.
shooting yourself in the foot, brother. Um, you got a powerhouse in Lamar. You got a powerhouse in Derrick Henry.
Hmm.
You got DeAndre Hopkins,
Zay
who is
Flowers.
getting a little older, so I don't really know how useful he will be. Um,
Maybe he does take off a little pressure off of Zay,
yes,
Rashad
yes.
Bateman,
And then who's that tight end?
Mark
Who
Andrews,
no, the other one.
Isaiah Likely, but he did get hurt though. He did get
Yeah,
hurt
right.
in training camp, but I'm not sure when he'll be back. But I know that he did get hurt, and I think he'll miss a little bit of the season.
Who's the tight end for Oakland? I mean Oakland, Las Vegas.
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers, Isaiah Likely, Travis Kelsey. That's how highly I think of um
Likely.
Isaiah Likely. Thank you. Sorry, I just keep blanking on his name.
You got to put Kittle up there. You got to put Sam Laporta up there, and you got to put TJ Hawkinson up there. I'll put it to you like that
Okay,
and I put it to you like that because, especially George Kittle. George Kittle is a well-rounded tight end. He's a blocking tight end.
hold on. I'm gonna reframe my argument with young guys that's coming up.
Okay,
I'm gonna say I'm
okay,
gonna reframe it.
okay,
We already know what Sam Laporta could do. We already know what George Kittle could do. T.J. Hawkinson could do. I'm gonna reframe my argument by saying definitely the two young guys that are coming up. It's those two.
okay.
It's Brock Bowers and it's Isaiah Likely.
And likely, yeah, yeah. Likely definitely had like his like welcome out party last season. He went crazy
Exactly.
last season. So yeah, actually no, excuse me. The season before that, because of Mark Andrews, he had went down.
hmm
That's on me.
hmm
That one's on me. But yeah, no. Like we said, Ravens, they know what it is. It's Super Bowl or bust. Ain't nothing else to it. Cincinnati, their biggest problem is they don't know how to start the season. It's the reason why that they missed the postseason the last couple of years. Um, yeah, if they didn't lose to the Patriots last season, they would have been the team in the wild card, and they more than likely could have been because their offense was so hot. They could have been the team to gone on to the Super Bowl, but they got to start all over again. They were able to extend Higgins, able to extend Chase. Defense, though, that's
Biggest question mark.
exactly. They still don't have no Trey Hendrickson. They got Shamar Stewart, who's pretty good. He didn't get a lot of sacks for an edge rusher, but if he could be productive, it can boost their defense. But yes, like the biggest thing is Trey Hendrickson and making sure that they sign him somehow, some way.
I'm just gonna say real quick, Cincinnati start the season slow, but if they start the season hot and they're able to get off to the ground running earlier, we all know what they're very, very much capable of, what
Hmm.
Jamar Chase is capable of, what T. Higgins is capable of, and Joe Burr and Joe Burr and Joe Burr. I'm gonna speak highly of Joe Burrow all day, every day, just
Yep.
because I do really think he is that guy. Like, 1A, 1B with Patrick Mahomes, and even, he's obviously up there with Josh and Lamar. Even I think sometimes better sometimes. Obviously, sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, Biggest question mark is defense though. They can't keep giving up as many points as they have been, especially over the last season. And that's really all I'm gonna say about it. I expect them to I know they got off to a really rough start last season, but I expect them to be a little better because of Jamar Chase doesn't have those contract negotiations behind his head. Like, T. Higgins doesn't have that behind his head, weighing over them more than anything else. They could just go out and ball.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big expectations for the Bengals. Um, Cleveland, obviously on defense, they have Myles Garrett coming back. They still have a solid secondary led by Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome II and Grant Delpit. They drafted Mason Graham out of Michigan, who for coaches said that he's picking up the playbook pretty quickly and he could be very disruptive, just like a Myles Garrett. But obviously, the real questions are all on offense because there are four quarterbacks. Actually, no, excuse me, five quarterbacks. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders, and they just signed on Tyler Huntley because Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel are both dealing with hamstring injuries. So now that leaves Shador Sanders to start preseason game one because obviously they're not gonna have Joe Flacco do it. So yeah, obviously. So yeah, Shador will start. And then basically Tyler Huntley, I guess, will be his backup. But yeah, big stuff for Shador. Yeah, it's just gonna be the time for Shador to go in there and just play and just ball out as hard as he can and try to make his case to plant that seed to be like, y'all should have picked me first, bro.
Um, I, this entire conversation revolves around Shador to me,
Yep.
very much so. I don't think he should be fourth on the depth chart. I really, really don't. Um, because I just do believe that he can carry his team if you surround him with a good offensive line. I think that highly of him, and I do think he could put a team on his back.
Hmm.
Um, Joe Flacco, just put him back on the couch, and then just call him up off the couch when you need him. If God forbid Shador gets hurt, but you got guys like Jerry Jeudy, Deontay Johnson, Caden Davis, tough receivers that can go out and make a play. You got David Njoku over there as well too. Um,
Joe Fanning Jr., who was a pretty good tight end out of Bowling Green.
Shador's gonna get that ball to where it needs to go. That defense is very, very good. Obviously, you have Myles Garrett, so we know what they. I think we're just watching them to see if they can progress more than anything else,
Yeah,
especially with all of the stuff that happened with Deshaun Watson.
yeah,
They're looking for they need a fresh start more than anything else, I think. And I think that fresh start starts with Shador.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, just whew, I'm just waiting just to see him. I just want to see him.
Me as well. Me as well.
Now we only got a couple minutes, but the Steelers, last but not least, trying to get their first playoff win since 2016. After Russell Wilson and Justin Fields did not pan out, now they have Aaron Rodgers. So, my biggest questions are who will really be running this offense because Arthur Smith put basically a restriction on Russell Wilson on calling audibles and things of that nature. You know how Rodgers is. If Rodgers sees something that he likes, he's gonna audible, elevate, he's gonna do what he need to do. So very interested to see how that works. Hopefully the O line can make some time for Rodgers as well. Steelers did lose Najee Harris, but they still have Jalen Warren, and they drafted Caleb Johnson, who is bigger and a more physical runner than Warren as well. Um, We all know they got DK Metcalf now. Calvin Austin the second. Could he be the number two? Could Roman Wilson actually come be healthy this season? And then we all know the defense led by TJ Watt. They got Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Patrick Queen is still there. Cameron Hayward, he's been on the low trying to get an extension on his contract, but or trying to reconstruct it, excuse me. But yeah, Steelers, man. Just trying to get to the playoffs and trying to get a playoff win, like I said, for the first time in almost 10 years.
Definitely, we know the standard isn't the standard anymore.
Right.
Getting to the playoffs isn't enough. I'm interested to see Aaron Rodgers. I do like him with DK Metcalf just because DK is a big target. Um, Honestly, I don't even. I'm interested to see if they're going to give Aaron as much control of the offense as Aaron as we are accustomed to Aaron Rodgers doing
Right.
more than anything else. But I got faith. I got faith. That defense is going. That defense, that Steelers defense is top notch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, guys like Alex Highsmith. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey, great addition with T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward. They'll be fine. I think they'll be fine defensively. They can get stops.
Yeah.
Hold a team to less than 10. They could get a dub easily.
Yeah. 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 No, it's all about, like you said, it's all about Aaron Rodgers just making sure that offense is clicking. And if they are, then they're going to be a problem. But
Mhm.
that is
And it's his last year. So
yes, yes,
I just hope he goes out with a bang more than anything else.
yeah, yeah, big time, big time. But that is our time for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed just as much as we did. Make sure to come back next week as we will be starting off with the NFC. So yeah. But till then, I'm your host Cam Silver,
I'm your co-host Kyle Silver.
and this is the Silver Boys.